Hey guys, we are in the basement, and today guys, on this episode of John's Arcade, we are doing part number 6, yes, I know, part number 6 of the Atari Tempest Fix video series. And guys, let me tell you, I really think this is gonna be the last video. I really think we're done because at the end of the last video, guys, I had to stop. Honestly, I was at the end of my rope. I mean, I couldn't go on. I had to stop, and that's what I did in the last video because when and by the way, if you saw the last video, we replaced the flyback, okay, on the 6100 monitor in the Tempest, and we replaced some parts in the HV section, okay, and we brought the monitor down here and we turned it on, and a resistor caught on fire. And that was the last straw. Honestly, I had to stop because I couldn't handle it, and I needed to get away from that game and from that monitor, and that's what I did. I just stopped yesterday and I said, that's it, we're done. there's no more arcade stuff today. I'm at the end of my rope. So today I woke up here on Sunday feeling fresh, and I did a little bit of research this morning, and the resistor that caught on fire was resistor 912, and in the 6100 FAQ it says that if you put in a cap backwards, I think it was 901, it would cause that to light on fire. And also it said one of the diodes, 902 or 901, if you had those switched, it would do that, okay? Well, I took a look here this morning, and I figured out what I did wrong. So basically, I put a Zener diode in the wrong spot, and it should have went into ZD 9. Well, actually, we'll take a look here. So the resistor that caught on fire is 912, okay, which is right. And yeah, I know, I cannot believe this is part 6. Why are we still working on this stupid thing? So the resistor that caught on fire is right here, okay? And that's 912, okay? Resistor 912. The FAQ said that if you put in cap 901 backwards, it would cause that to do that. And I looked at this cap, and that cap is incorrectly. It is inserted correctly. Negative is here and negative's there. And then it also said something about diode 901, which is right here. Now you look here, I did replace diode 901, okay? However, I put in a Zener diode here. This was supposed to go in ZD901, not D901, okay? So I put ZD's 901's part in D901. I was supposed to put it over here. Right here is where ZD901 is. I put it in the wrong spot, so this is absolutely my fault. I screwed up. I wasn't paying attention, and I put the wrong part in the wrong spot, which caused this resistor to fry. Now, I'm hoping and praying that we just replace these two parts and we're done, okay? And that we did not destroy anything else in this section, and I really, really hope that's the case. So I'm praying, and I want you guys to pray with me. And no, I'm not a big holy guy, but really, if there is an arcade god, we need to pray to him right now. So let's discharge the monitor, and we're going to just remove the HV cage and bring it to the garage. So, of course, put one hand in your pocket. I'm using a screwdriver with an alligator clip. We're going to come under the anode here. And with one hand, we're going to discharge it. And we're basically discharging it to ground, which is where the alligator clip is on the frame. And then let's just get this thing off. This is going to be a little harder to get off here because it's brand new. So, all right, it's discharged. So let's remove the HV cage, which is very simple to do. And instead of bringing the whole monitor to the garage, we'll just do it this way. So we'll disconnect this, disconnect that. Let's get this unhooked here. Yeah, guys, honestly, the video ended abruptly, and honestly, that is what I needed to do. I needed to get away from this thing because I was just at capacity. I couldn't handle it anymore. I'm telling you, man, when you get like, just walk away. Just walk away. Save it for another day. I think that if I would have continued, I would have made more mistakes. I was fatigued. So, all right, the HV cage is out. Let's go to the garage and replace those parts, and I'll meet you guys in the garage. All right. All right, guys, we're back in the garage, and yes, it's still a mess out here. We need to get this over with so we can move on with our life. So, oh my God, I really hope that we just replace these two parts and we're done. Honestly, this could be very quick, I hope. Very, very quick. Okay, so let's just get to work here. Let's desolder these parts, and we need to remove resistor 912, which is the one that we torched, okay? And also diode 901, which we have the wrong part in right now. And thank God I have these parts here from the Ian Kellogg John's Arcade brand parts kit for the HV section. I did not use these parts because we tested them because they were all good. So anyway, thank God I had those on hand. But let's just get to work here. So, so the one we got to replace is, let's take a look here. So it's this one right here, which is next to this cap. And let's see, which one is it? It looks like it's this one. Let me see here. It's so hard to figure out sometimes which part is which. I think it's this and this. I think that's it right here. So the pot is there. No, it's not. It's over here more. This is irritating when you cannot figure out what part it is. Alright, so let me put my finger here. Alright, looks like it's right here and here. No. This one? That's the cap. So it's next to the cap, centered in between. So it should be this one and this one, I believe. Let's try it. So let's go right here. Ouch, hot. And then this one. And it looks like this was a repair job. Alright, let's see if that comes off. There we go. And then the other leg here should come through here. So I think it's this one right here. There we go. Alright, so it looks like it fell out. Where'd it go? There it is. So let's take a look at this thing. Look at that thing. That is toasty, man. Holy cow, that thing. I mean, that was a literal smoke show. I tell you, that was pretty scary when that happened, because I was like, oh my God, I thought the flyback was catching on fire. All right, so let's put a new D912 in there. And then we also need to replace the diode next to it, because I put the wrong one in, which caused all of this. I'm just going to double check. I'm going to get the parts list. I want to just make sure I'm putting the right part in. Let me get the parts list for the deflection, no, for the HV. So 912... I'm just doing this to be a little extra cautious because I don't want to screw this up again. So 912 is supposed to be 913. 912 is a 15 ohm. So let me get my meter here and we'll test that out. All right, I grabbed my meter and it should be a 15 ohm resistor. Let's see what we got here. Ow. 15.1 ohm, perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and put this part in. Boy, we really burnt up the board. That was violent, what happened. All right, so let's put these two parts in, go back down and test it out, and we'll adjust our B+. I'm really optimistic here that this is all we need to do. I don't know. I really didn't think yesterday I screwed anything up. And then this morning, I just went on the internet and just Googled R912 burnt up 6100 HV. And sure enough, a thread-on clove. Actually, I think it was Ken Layton just cut and pasted what the FAQ said about this. That that basically, if you put it in the cap wrong or screwed up those diodes, that it would cause that resistor to light on fire. And I got actually really excited when I saw that. I'm like, oh, good. This is documented. And then I came downstairs and looked at my monitor, and sure enough, I put the wrong part, that wrong diode in. Which actually made me like super like happy, to be honest. I mean, I was like, oh God, thank you. I did screw up. There's the problem right there. It's exactly what I wanted to see. Because it's when you look at these monitors and you don't see a problem that you have a problem. Because it's like, then you're just like banging your head against the wall. All right, I'm just gonna double check continuity on these just to make sure. I don't think I screwed those up, but let's see. So that's on there good. And this goes to here. And this goes to over here. All right, that's good. All right, so that's resistor 912. Now we need to correct the mistake that we made, which was D901, which is right here. I put a Zener diode there. That was not supposed to be what's there. So I totally botched that. So it looks like it's these two right here. So this was one where I bent the trace up. There we go. All right, let's pull this part out. And like I said, I'm so happy that I actually have these parts. So this thing, the trace is really blown out. Okay. All right, so that's the wrong part. That was a Zener diode. I wonder if we fried that thing. Looks like no. Yeah, we did. No, we didn't. Oh yeah, we did. Short. I think. There's no reading in that direction. Yeah, we shorted that thing. Ugh. Alright, so 901 right here. Again, thankfully I have this part. So let's put it in the right way. So there's a band right there, so let's observe polarity. I'm going to pre-bend this just to kind of make our life easier here. Alright. Okay. Okay, so the other one has a blown out trace, which I'm not sure if I did that or if it was like that already. But let's bend this back here and then trim. Where's my good side cutters? So what we're gonna do here, God, the lighting's all weird again. So I'm gonna bend this back and then trim it to here. And then we're going to use this right here to make a little repair job. There's lots of little repairs on the bottom here. trim the excess here. Okay, so there's a, see this right here? You gotta make sure you get rid of this stuff. All right. Okay, let's kind of take a look at our work here and double check everything. So this right here is in right. We have right polarity. This one is in where it's supposed to be. It's not burnt up. Now I don't know if we should test anything else around here. Just trim this back. I need new side cutters, man. These are dull. Okay, so I guess the question is did anything else did anything else go bad because of this short that we created? I'm gonna just cross my fingers and say no, and because there's really not a lot to test that's right here except for this cap. You know, did we blow up that cap? I guess we could test it. Should we? Because that's the other part. Yeah, I guess we might as well. So let's remove this cap. I mean, we've got our ESR meter, so we can test like a pro now. Okay. So let's take our ESR meter and test this cap. And I think you see it right now, it says like 1.9 picofarad. So I think if we press calibrate, there, it should zero it out. Yeah, so now it's at 0. So let's put it on ESR. And let's just test this thing real quick, because if we shorted this, we can replace it. So we're getting 0.3947 ohms ESR, and then 85 microfarad. This is 100, so this is exactly the same value it was when we put it in. So we did not ruin that cap, but obviously right now we gotta make sure we put it in the right way, just like that. All right. So let's go ahead and solder that back in. Okay. Okay, guys, I think we're ready to go back downstairs. Just double checking my work here. Everything looks pretty good. Nothing's jumping out at me. That's ZD. Okay, I think we're ready to go back down in the basement. Let's go try this out. I'll meet you guys down there. All right, guys, we're back in the basement here. So let's reinstall this, and like I said, cross all of our fingers. I need you at home to cross your fingers too. Let's see, how's this going like this? So let me grab the screws. Where did I put those? Oh man, I really hope we're done here, because I really want to move on. We got so much other stuff to do. It's almost November here. I really want to have Mortal Kombat working before snow. Actually, it snowed this week. Like yesterday, or was it Friday? There was a couple inches of snow on the ground. Maybe it was Thursday. It was crazy. But today is actually super nice. It's like in the 60s. All right, so let's throw this one right here. All right, so that's all screwed back in. And we got to make our connections here. There's just 2 plugs, 1 and 2. And then let's put our anode on. So let's go ahead here and just carefully put this on here. Okay. All right, this is it, guys. We're ready to try this again. So let's okay, so let me plug this into the game using our extension cable. Thank you, Johnny. And then let's plug the game in and see what happens here. All right, so we're plugged into the game. Plug the Tempest into the AC. All right, guys, this is it. Are you ready? So maybe I should put this right here so we can kind of look at the screen as it comes up. All right, we're gonna try this again. We're gonna turn the light off, turn this off. All right, are you ready? Here we go. It's on. Okay. I don't know if we have HV. We do. If you touch the screen, you feel that static. Okay, good. So the picture looks crazy. All colors are there. Oh my God, thank you. Oh no. It's behaving the same way. Ah, we still have a problem. It's behaving the same way. The focus knob is doing the same thing. I don't know. The picture looks really good though. All right, let's test the B+. I mean, at least it's working again. So let's come over here. Let's see what the B+ is doing. I don't know. I don't get the sense that it's fixed. I guess time is going to tell here. Where's my meter? Please, I don't want to work on this anymore. The picture looks great. All right, let's test B+. Carefully put this here. And then we're going to test it at the neckboard. It's the orange wire and then ground. So let's come over here. So the B+ is a little bit low. It's 174.9. So let's turn it up a smidge. Picture looks really good though. So there's a little pot in here. And I know we covered this in the other video, but I'm going to show you again. So you see that pot right here? Okay, I'm going to turn that just a little bit, and then we're going to test our B+. I really should figure out a way to just clamp the alligator clip, the leads over here, so we could not have to keep going back and forth, but I just turned it up a little bit, so let's test it again. I'm just going to do like minute adjustments. All right, let's grab this. 179.9. 180. It's supposed to be 181. I'm tempted just to leave it right there. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. Picture still looks fantastic, okay? So we're going to let it sit for a half hour. I'm just going to let it keep running here. But it looks really good. It really does. I don't know if it looks better, but it looks good. So I'm going to let it sit for 30 minutes. It's 1 o'clock right now, 1:04. And then I'm going to come back at 1:30. Which will be about 26 minutes. We'll test B+. We'll see if the picture fades. We'll see if those problems we were having before have gone away. That's all we can do. So, all right, I'll be back. All right, guys, it's 1:15. It's been like, what, 10 minutes? And I can tell you right now, things are still bad. The picture is completely dim. It's nowhere near as bright as it was a second ago. Or 10 minutes ago. You could see that everything's faded. I don't know if you guys could see it through the camera, but it's going down, down, down. It's losing brightness, okay? The colors are nowhere near as strong as they were, so we didn't fix it. It wasn't the flyback. There's something still wrong. I'm guessing in the HV section. I do want to test the B plus right now. Let me grab my meter. I'm kind of thinking that we're going to make one more adjustment here and then let it sit and see if we can repeat this. You are supposed to test and adjust the B plus after like 15 minutes. So the B plus is going up a little bit. It's 182. So I think that's normal, by the way. The B plus kind of wavers after the monitor's on for 15 minutes. But right now, the picture is just crazy dim. I'm going to come here and let's turn it back up again. Right there. And that looks good. I really don't like that the focus pot is causing it to go black. All right, I'm going to let it sit again for 15 minutes here. But right now, it looks good again. It's a little too bright. Let's let it sit for 15 minutes and then we'll come back and see if it's good or bad. But right now, you can see this is what it looks like. It looks great. It looks perfect. So let's come back again and see, and we'll test our B plus again. It's 119 right now, 117. So we'll come back around 130 and see what it's doing. All right, guys, we're back here, and the screen is pretty much just gone. It's barely there. Take a look. So let's just test the B plus to see if that's changed at all. And I actually kind of have an idea here. I have some direction. I've been reading the FAQ, and it looks like the problem here could be ZD902, which I did not replace, and thankfully I have that on hand too. So I think we're going to change that diode, and that thing can cause weak brightness. But right now, let's just test the B plus to see what it's doing, just to see if it's changed, because it was like 183 a short while ago. No, it's the same, 182.6. So the B plus is rock solid. So the B plus is tied to the high voltage, which is, under the anode here with like 17,000 volts, I guess. And if the ZD902 is bad, it lowers the voltage to around 10,000, which can cause weak brightness. So I have a hunch here, just based on the FAQ, or at least I have some direction. So I'm going to take the HV cage off. We're going to go to the garage and we're going to change ZD902 because I didn't change that one. So maybe that's our problem. I don't know. At this point, we're just guessing. All right, guys, we're back in the garage here, and I want to review. So this is from the FAQ I printed. I printed two sections that look like kind of our problem and where to look. Symptom, picture too bright, but all that's okay. We kind of have the opposite of that, but I thought it'd be worth just checking this out. It says pin 6 of the high voltage transformer to diode 901. This trace is prone to breaking open. It's probably easier to add a jumper. And I'm going to tell you that what they're talking about is actually right... it's right here to 901. Yeah, it's this trace right here. And that kind of looked a little lifted when I was doing it, so I think we're going to put a jumper from here to here just in case. We'll do that. And then also, the next thing it says here, blooming, weak brightness, low HV, since most of you don't have HV Pro, blah, 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 blah. It goes on here. I've seen several HV boards where ZD902, 150 volt Zener diode, goes bad, and the HV drops from 19.5 kilovolts to around 10,000 kilovolts. It is kind of like the electron beam moves slower with less HV, giving the deflection magnets on the yoke more time to deflect the beam. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it causes blooming, weak brightness, and low HV. So we definitely want to change ZD902. It says if that's okay, then also check these other parts here. So I think what we'll do is we'll just do ZD902 and then also put that jumper in for now. And then if we still have a problem, we're going to look at the other parts. And luckily, again, I have this part. This is from Bob Roberts. Actually, Ian gave me that part, and that's the one I put in the wrong spot, so we fried it. So we're going to use one of Bob's parts here. It's a 150 volt diode, and he had it actually labeled separately. And like I said, thank God I actually have these parts on hand. All right, so ZD902, where are you? Right here. Okay, so it's that guy right there. And did I replace that? It looks like I did replace that. Did I already replace this with Ian's part? I think I did. I think I did already replace that. Yeah, I totally replaced that. Yeah, I could tell I replaced that part. So if that part's okay, then it wants us to check 915, 922, 900, 902, 906. Should we replace it again? It sure looks like I replaced that. I could tell I did because of the work here. Should we just pull it out anyway and see what's going on with it? What do you guys think? Weird. I thought I did not replace that part. I did replace that part. I'm telling you, I'm so sick of this stupid monitor. So that's this one right here. Let's see if we can get that out. I guess we'll just test it really quick. I'm starting to get burned out on this monitor again. I was so optimistic this morning. Now I'm not feeling so. All right, so the part's out. So let's just test it really quick and see if it tests any differently than... Oh, my multimeter's in the basement. Hang on. All right, let's test it real quick. Diode test. .6 that way. And then let's compare it to the new part. I'm sure it's exactly the same. All right, so that part was actually good. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put this other one back in. We'll just put the new one in. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I guess just replace the rest of the parts, the transistors. I think we should replace all of these. I really do. Because it says Q900, ZD901 we already replaced. IC901, I think I have that part. And then P900, ribbon pin number 7 broken. I'm not sure, so let's get the guy in here. Boy, oh boy, this just will not end. I guess I should have just shotgunned the whole HV section, right? Is that what we should have done yesterday? I'm really surprised that alright, so that's ZD902. I put it in the right way. And we're gonna bend this over, trim it. Okay, and then I also want to put that jumper on. Let's trim this back. Okay, so ZD901's been replaced. ZD902, sorry. I do want to put that jumper on that goes from the flyback right here to this diode, D901. I think we should just do that because it'll be very simple to do. And what I'll do is let me look for a part that we can steal the leg off of. I'm sure we could take the leg from this ZD901. So I'm going to cut this off right here, and then we're going to use this leg to make a jumper, and that's on the flyback, and that goes from, let's see, where is that? Right here. More solder to that. That trace really does look suspect there, I have to say. So what on the flyback, and I'll show you guys a little closer here where we did that right there. See that? So that's pin 6. I just took a lead from a discarded diode from here to here, because that trace looks a little teeny tiny lifted, and it says here, picture too bright. So it says, look at pin 6 of the high voltage transformer and the anode of diode DO901. This trace is prone to breaking. It's probably easier just to add a jumper and see if it solves the problem, or else check the connection with board removed. Okay, so blooming weak brightness. Now we got to move on to Q900, 902, 906, ZD901, IC901, P900, ribbon pin number 7 broken. So I have IC901 right here. So we tested the resistors, but I guess we can test them again. For if it's open, and then R922, open or wrong value. So here's 22. Let's test R922. So that's at 6.2 k ohms. R922, and it says open or wrong value. Let's see what it's supposed to be. 922 should be 11 k ohms. Interesting. So R922. Oh wow, we're way off. We have 4.7 k ohms. All right, we're definitely replacing that guy. I guess the question is, do I have that? I don't. I have 912. 922. Let me see if it came in any of the other kits here. Shoot. Let me see. I'm looking through all the parts lists for Bob Roberts and Ian. So I've got a whole bunch of stuff here. We don't have that resistor. So looking at the fact again, the second part it lists R922, open or wrong value. And 922 should be 11K ohms. Of the value it's supposed to be. Interesting. All right, let's look at our R915 is 0.97, and R915 is supposed to be. God, the camera's in a horrible spot. Sorry, guys. R915 is supposed to be 1K ohms. So R915 is fine because I'm getting 0.977K ohms. So going down the list, R922 is suspect. So now the big question is do I have this somewhere in my house? That value, 922, should be 11K ohms, quarter watt. I wonder if Adam has that part. Hang on a second. All right, while I'm trying to source that resistor, I sent a message to Adam. I'm going to go down the list because the next thing is Q900, which is this guy right here, I believe. Or is it? Let's see, Q900. Yeah, it should be this one right here, which is right there on the chassis. Let's see, BU406. That looks like a BU409. Let me see if I can find a. So that's Q900. I'm just wondering where that is. Is it Q900? Yeah, it's got to be this one right here. Let me just double check that. I'm going to look at Q900. I have so much documentation here, which is good. I save all this stuff. Metal frame, HVK, Q900. Additional parts, Q700, Q900. Let me figure out if that is indeed Q900. I can't tell because it's a different part number than what's here. This is BU406. It looks like BU109. I'm guessing that's it though. Really quick. Let's test this thing. I should look up the part number and get the pin out. This looks like BU09. BU09. Let me look up the part number, the pin out. All right, I looked at the pin out on this part, and this should be an NPN, and then it should go base, collector, emitter, left to right. Okay, and here's my little cheat sheet. This is for PNP, so we're going to need to get the opposite readings here. Okay, so let's go base to emitter. So base, collector, emitter, and we should be getting a reading when we do. So let's go base to collector. Now we need to go emitter to base. So this is base. We should get go collector to base, collector to base. It should be the middle one. We should get no reading. Okay, and then emitter. So base, collector, emitter, and we should get a reading, and we don't. We should be getting a reading right now, and we don't. Let's compare it to the new part. No, we don't. Collector to emitter. This goes base, collector to emitter. On a PNP, it should be out of range. I think it's out of range on both of them, isn't it? On the NPN too. I'm looking at my notes here. Yeah, you do get open on... Okay, yeah, the collector to emitter test should be open on NPN and PNP. So I kind of think this part's good, but let's just replace it anyway. And so this is a BU 406, and the one that was in there I think was a 409. I'm going to assume these are the same parts. Let me just verify that that is indeed Q600. Hang on. Okay, yeah, I verified this is Q900 here, so I was just being cautious. I'm going to put a little bit of silicon heatsink compound on here. And there's a... the pin's kind of bent up just to get it away from the frame. Nut in the back here. So there's a nut that goes on the back of this. Something tells me that this part is fine. I'm really bummed about that resistor because, I mean, it's like literally the second part that they mention, and that if it's out of spec, it can cost. I wonder if I have something to just kind of create that resistor. Alright, so let's plug this in, and obviously it's possible to do this wrong, but I think the way the plug is here. Like so. Okay, so that's replaced. Okay, I'm going to poke around and see if we can find resistors to make the R922. Let me see what I can come up with. All right, guys, I want to show you something I just did here. So remember R922, it's supposed to be 11K ohms, and it was a test. It was testing at 5K ohms, and I actually was just messaging Ian, kind of picking his brain, and he said something that was a little thought-provoking. He said, did you measure the resistor in circuit? And I said, yes. So I just came out here and removed R922, and look at this. It's fine, 10.78 K ohms. So there's actually nothing wrong with R922. I don't need that part. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back in, and we're just going to continue down the list here. And I'm going to put this in, and then I'm just going to replace the rest of the parts. Because the rest of the parts in the kit are essentially these transistors right here and this diode. So I'm going to replace all of those, and then we're going to just cross our fingers and see what happens downstairs. So, all right, I'm going to put the resistor back in, and we'll come back. All right, guys, here's what we're going to do. I just put in that resistor 922. It's back in. We're going to go test it again. And the only parts that are left are Q901, 902, 903, 904. I haven't replaced those, or IC11. RC901. And I want to just test it now because we changed a couple parts, right? We put this little jumper wire in here. So why don't we go back downstairs and just see what happens. I just want to see if anything has changed at all. I was talking to Ian too. He thought maybe I should test the tube. So I don't know. Let's go downstairs and put this back in and see what happens. Ugh. Alright guys, we're back in the basement here, and I didn't bring the tripod down. So I just plugged everything back together here. I want to tell you something though, that when I went to put the anode on, and I was being very careful, it totally like was arcing to the metal bunny ears. So be super careful when doing this, because this thing, for whatever reason, built up a charge after we discharged it, and I just discharged it really quick. So be super careful on that anode. Just be careful. That thing will bite you, and that will hurt. So anyway, we're all hooked up together here. Just double checking everything. And we're ready to try this again. So I'm going to turn the game on. You ready? Okay, now I don't really know if what we did is good or bad or whatever. We'll see here. Let's come to the front here. I don't feel HV. There we go. Okay. So the picture's back. Brightness is too much. There's the sweet spot. I could tell it's still screwed up. Oh, God, I don't know. Do I have a bad tube? Are we missing green again? We are. We're missing green. Do we have a bad tube? Okay, guys, I just made a massive discovery, okay? The picture went away completely. It went away, it went away, it went away. And then I started wiggling the neckboard, and it came right back, like immediately. So I think I have a bad neckboard socket. I think I just found it. I think I just found it. I think I just found the problem, guys. It's the neckboard socket. Oh my God. You know what? It's funny because John Exedy told me the same thing. He said it's the neckboard. He said it's... So I got to think what we're going to do now. Actually, I'm going to let it go for another 15 minutes here and we'll come back. I'm kind of excited, though, because the picture was completely gone, and I wiggled the neckboard, and it came right back like this. So I think the problem is the pins on the neckboard. Maybe we should clean it with some deoxit. Yeah. I'm getting excited here. I think we figured it out. Okay, I'm gonna let it go for 20 minutes. We'll come back. All right, guys. I went and grabbed some deoxit. So right now it's kind of dark. I'm going to do a little experiment here. I'm going to just wiggle the neckboard to see if I can get it to come back. And I'm very, very carefully doing this. See, look at it. I can make it go black. I'm just wiggling the neckboard. You can see it's totally... Yeah, the problem's the neckboard. All right, I'm going to turn the monitor off. And we're going to clean that socket. Let's, Oh, God. Yeah, I think I totally just found the problem here. I think to be careful here, I'm going to discharge the monitor. So I'm just going to pull the neckboard off. I'm like all scared now to do this because I got zapped before. Alright. Okay, so let's just gonna go like this. Alright. Just being careful there. I don't want to get bit by that thing. So alright, I'm gonna remove the neckboard and we're gonna clean these pins. Interesting how this is set up here. I wonder if I can bend those back a little bit to add some tension, because look at how they are. So look at how the pins are in there. I wonder if it would be risky to bend those because they're like tension pins. Let The battery died on my light, so I don't have the light right now. So you can see these pins. I could see that these ones over here are bent back. Totally. Oh, I can totally see what they are. So I wonder if I can carefully bend them back and put a little more tension on them. I can absolutely see that the pins on this side are depressed in more than the pins on that side. And I wonder if I can carefully come in here with some pliers and bend them back out. Let me see. Yeah, they're still bent in way more than the other one. I'm trying to be careful here because I'm going to get my other pliers, my smaller pliers from the garage. Alright, let's just see if we can bend these back. I'm getting kind of excited now. Just carefully trying to pull these out. Let's take a look here. And they look better. This is probably heating up, and as it warms up, that looks a lot better. And then let's look on here. So I think I'm going to spray a little deoxit on here. I'm just looking at them. These ones still look like they're in too much. Alright, that looks way better. Okay, I don't know if we should spray deoxit. I guess it couldn't hurt. Oh my god, if this is it, I'm going to be really happy. And then, let's just kind of work it on here. I'm just gonna alright, let's kind of look again. They still look pretty good. So we're gonna wait a couple minutes, which is what you're supposed to do. We'll just spray a little bit more in here. That one right there looks like it's bent in still. I don't like how that they all look pretty even now. Guys, oh my god. If this is it, I am going to be jumping for joy here. Okay, so I think you're supposed to let this sit. How long does it say? Turn off equipment, wait a few seconds, wait 2 minutes before turning on. So I'm going to wait 2 minutes and we'll come back. Alright, let's put it back together. It's been a few minutes here. I'm going to discharge the monitor again because that kind of scared me last time. Yeah, look at that. Total zap there. So yeah, be careful. Alright, let's put the anode back on. Okay, let's put the neckboard back on. All right, let's try it. Here we go, guys. Let's come up front here. Okay. Show me a picture, show me a picture, show me a picture. There we go. Alright. Let's turn the focus up just a little bit. Let it just run for 20 minutes and we'll come back. So I don't know. Do we have a bad socket? I don't know. Let's come back and we'll see what's going on. Alright guys, I'm back. It's been on for 20 minutes maybe, and it's totally fine. I think we fixed it. It was the neckboard socket. That's the issue. It was the neckboard socket. I guess the big question is, how did that happen? Did I do that? Did I bump it? Did I create this problem when we were working on it in the garage? I have no idea. But the picture's great right now, so I'm going to let it go for a little bit longer, but I totally think we fixed it. I think that was it. It was the neckboard socket. I bent the pins back. I put some Dioxide on there, and it looks amazing. So, and by the way, thanks again, John Exedy, because he was the one that said, oh, yeah, it's a neckboard. When I posted about this, he said, yeah, I've had that before. It's a neckboard. And he was right. It was the neckboard. And by the way, the neckboard socket on this is a CR24, which is, I guess, impossible to find. I guess it was in some TVs from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but in general, you can't just go out there and order a CR24 socket. So, So I'm worried now about bumping it. Is it going to screw it up? Like right now, if I were to touch the neckboard, is it going to make the picture go junky? I don't think so. It actually looks pretty good. So, all right, I'm going to let it go just for another 15, 20 minutes, just to really know that we got it, you know. But I have not been able to keep it on this long since we started working on this thing without losing a screen, and we still have it. And the picture looks really good. So, oh, my God, we did it, guys. All right, I'll come back in 20. All right, guys, we're back. It's been about 15 minutes or so, and it's still rock solid. We totally got it, guys. That was it. It was the neckboard all along. Oh, my God. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to button this back up. We're going to put it in its hole. I'm going to turn the arcade on. We're going to play a couple games. We're going to hang out. We're going to do some viewer mail. But we totally got it, guys. We totally got it. Oh, my God. All of that we've been through. Oh, my God. Unbelievable. Well, we got a new flyback. We really went through the HV section. So everything's pretty good, huh? Why don't we test the B plus and maybe adjust it exactly to 181? Because the monitor is definitely warmed up here. So let's go ahead and just test the B plus. $184.6. It's a little high. I'm just gonna dial it down just a hair. Let me get my light. This pot's really sensitive though, so I could tell that was too far. It doesn't take much to dial it in. So I'm going to adjust it to 181. I'm going to put everything back together here, and then we're going to hang out here and try the game out. 184.4. So it's just micro here on this. Turn it down just a smidge. And like I said before, it is a good idea to let the monitor fully warm up before you adjust the B+, because I think it does drift a little bit as it warms up. 180.8. That's perfect. All right, we're gonna leave it right there. So, okay. All right, I'm gonna button this game up, put it in its hole. We're gonna test it out, make sure it's still working, do some viewer mail, hang out, all that stuff. But I'll spare you guys the button up process because we've done it a gazillion times in this series. So I'm gonna do that real quick and I'll come back. All right, guys, the basement's turned back on. Everything's back to normal. iRobot actually behaving, believe it or not. Anyway, let's go check out Tempest over here. Oh my God. It feels so good to have my basement organized again. And so let's see what's going on here. I guess we'll play a game. You want to play a game? So, I can't believe that we went through all of this for this stupid game. I just don't want to ever talk about Tempest ever again. Ever again. I don't want to discuss this game. I don't want to mess around with it ever again. That's it. We're done with Tempest, hopefully forever. So the monitor looks pretty good. I did dial it in a little bit. All right, let's play. Okay, everything works. Picture looks good. All colors are there. Seems kind of loud. Maybe I'm imagining that. I'll say this, I had to adjust the picture again. It's almost like when we adjusted the B+, it screwed with the picture a little bit. Oh my God, I'm doing horrible. Feels good though, colors look good, all the colors are there, everything feels stable. Alright, let's exit. So I guess I have a special relationship with this game now after all we've gone through. So we still have to address that iRobot power supply. I just died. That's the wrong exit. You gotta clear and exit out before you leave, because those green spikes are sticking out. Alright, there we go. So this was the level I kind of used to gauge the width. I think this is the widest level in the game. So I made sure that the left and right extremes were both visible, and then I adjusted the X size. All right, it still works, thank God. So, all right, let's go over here and hang out. And yes, it feels good to have the arcade back on. I mean, look at it in here. It's beautiful. It's so awesome though. When you turn the games on, it feels so alive down here. I mean, it was feeling kind of dead, wasn't it? With the games all off there. My tripod is a little crooked or something. Got like some Batman angles going on. That's a little straighter, I think. Anyway, let's hang out and do some viewer mail. And if you guys want to participate in the viewer mail segment, you need to email them to me at blkdog7@gmail.com. blkdog7@gmail.com. In the subject line, you got to put viewer mail. Otherwise, I will not find them. Nope, I won't. So, blkdog7@gmail.com in the subject line. Please put viewer mail, 2 words. All right, first one here is from Craig. Hey John, I love your channel. Came across when researching how to build an arcade cabinet from scratch. After much thought and research, I decided to go with just buying a working machine. I found a working machine with a 60-in-1 board that someone was starting to turn into a DK looking multi-cane. I decided to go with the Donkey Kong theme since it was already painted a similar color. I've already installed a marquee and I'm in the process of getting some DK control panel and bezel artwork. Here are my questions. 1. I would like to expand the cabinet pliability by adding another board I could switch between. What do you think of that idea, and would it be worth it? 2, I want to replace the artwork inside the cabinet. See picture to something DK related. Being a fan of DK, what would you suggest? 3, optional question if you have time. Any chance you know what the cabinet originally was? Really enjoy your videos and dig your enthusiasm. Hope to hear from you and have a great day. Craig from California. All right, so let's show Craig's cabinet right here. Okay, so here's Craig's little multicade. He bought it like this. It was already converted to a 60-in-1. The cabinet, oh boy, I don't know what cabinet that is. The coin mechs are throwing me off a little bit. At first, it looked like a Century cabinet, like a Time Pilot or something, but I don't think it is. And then I started thinking it looked kind of like a Zaxxon, and I don't think it is that either. I don't know what that cabinet is. Does anyone know out there? Actually, leave a comment below if you know what that cabinet is. It feels like maybe a Milestar cabinet, like a Mach 3 or something, but those coin mechs look Japanese, so I don't know what to make of that. Okay, so he got it with a 60-in-1. The damage was already done. It's working. It's playable. It is what it is, okay? And he's wondering about putting another board in there, another JAMA board. Now, Craig, I'm going to recommend something to you. I would put MAME in there. That's what I would do. If you're going to do a multicade and you already got the JAMA harness in there and you're bored of the 60-in-1, which I was when I had that in my Miss Pac-Man, I went to the next step and I built a MAME computer for it with a JPack, okay? And the MAME, you can just get any crappy old computer, go on Craigslist, buy a $100 PC, and turn that into your MAME PC. You know, something running Windows XP or 7, or just, it doesn't need to be a high-end computer, especially if you're gonna play the older vertical games like yours is set up here. So I would get an old computer. I have a Celeron in mine, runs all of the classics fantastic. You know, your Galagas, your Galaxians, all that stuff runs perfect on that machine. So I would recommend doing that instead of getting a multi-JAMA setup, you know, because you want to keep the 61, you want to add another board you can switch to. I would avoid that and just go right to MAME. Just go right to MAME. You're going to be a lot happier in the long run. And if you're just going to keep this a multicade, which is what it is right now, just throw a MAME computer in there. And as far as the artwork goes, oh, I don't know. Just keep it tasteful. I mean, let's face facts. This is not a Donkey Kong, so anything you do is wrong. So if you're gonna do it, I would try to stay true to the original. Try to get, you know, a real looking bezel. But really, at the end of the day, it's wrong. But have fun with it. Why not? So get the real artwork and get a nice control panel overlay it looks like, and get a bezel that matches. That's what I would do. Just enjoy it for what it is. Moving on. This is from Caesar. Hello, John. My name is Caesar. I am 15 years old and I'm from Sweden. I love your videos more than anything on YouTube, and I spend hours watching and re-watching your videos. Wow. Thanks, pal. Here in Sweden, finding arcades is very rare, and there are only a couple arcades in the big cities, but they only have about 1 to 5 machines in them, so I mostly play using MAME on my PC. But watching you play and restoring arcade machines has inspired me to start building my own cabinet. I would love some tips on how to get started with building my own cabinet and what software and hardware I should use. Thank you so much for your attention, Caesar. So, Caesar, I think you're asking me about building a scratch build like MAME cabinet. Is that what you want to do? So what I would do, go online and search for arcade cabinet plans, okay? I think one of them is called Jacobud. I think that's a site that has all kinds of arcade plans. Maybe find like a Donkey Kong or a cabinet that you like, an Atari-style cabinet, and I would do something like that. Build a scratch build cabinet using those plans, and then going back to the previous guy, I would do MAME. You know, you don't need a very powerful PC. I think Hyperspin is the way to go these days, especially if you're doing a horizontal monitor setup. I found, though, with the horizontal, that using Mala was a lot nicer and easier to use. However, it's not as pretty and glitzy, you know. So Hyperspin, I think, is what you're going to look for. So Caesar, I'd find yourself a cheap PC, get a JPack, get a JAMA harness, go look at Hyperspin, and go look at those plans to build a cabinet from scratch. So I think I'm answering your question. Is this what you're asking me? That's the direction I would give you. All right, moving on from Dan. Hi, John. Huge fan. Enjoying the Mortal Kombat restore. Hope all is well with you and your family. Well, we are good, thanks. Thank you for all the time you devote to the hobby. The viewers appreciate it. I wanted to update you on my Electro Home Geo7. Your Ian Kellogg John's Arcade branded cap kit saved the day. Easy to install. I enjoyed it. I don't mind monitor work. I sent you pictures from my Mania Challenge. Good 2-player game. Thanks for your help, Dan. So Dan used a John's Arcade branded cap kit. He got it at iankellogg.com. And he capped the Geo7 on his Map Mania, and here it is. So here's his game and the cap kits and all that stuff he bought. So Map Mania, by the way, is a game that I remember playing at 7-Eleven. And as far as I know, or as far as I remember, it's the best wrestling game, period. Like, I loved that game. And so that's actually really cool. Was that a kangaroo? I think that was a kangaroo or a centipede. I don't know, but either way, it's cool, dude. So thanks for the support. Thanks for buying the John's Arcade branded cap kits, and you guys should do that too. even though they didn't fix the monitor in this video, wiggling the neckboard did. So who knows? So anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you very soon. Remember to send your viewer mail to blkdog7@gmail.com, blkdog7@gmail.com. Now, the next video, I'm not sure what it's going to be. We might be talking about Raspberry Pi JAMA or this thing I have called Trigger Happy, which allows us to use a HAP gun and a red tent. I've been meaning to do that video for some time, and maybe we'll make that a midweek video here. I'm not sure. Now, this video is coming out, I think, on Tuesday, because Sunday night, Monday is going to be part number 5. This is going to be right behind it. I actually did these 2 videos a day apart, and part 5 I did on Saturday, and part 6, this one, is this 5 or 6? I don't remember where we are. 6? This one I did on Sunday, so I'll probably release this video on Tuesday, part 5 on Monday, and then maybe we'll do a video on Wednesday or Thursday. What do you guys think? You want to do a lot of videos? If I do like more than 2 videos, is that, I mean, really, I don't think I can do more than 2 videos a lot, but sometimes I can. I don't know. We have so much to do right now. We have the Hong Kong trip footage coming. We have California Extreme. I did 2 videos there. I've got the JAMA Raspberry Pi video. I've got that Trigger Happy HAP gun for Nintendo versus Red Tents and dual systems and unit systems. And then we also have the Mortal Kombat restore we had to get back to. And of course the Turtles. I want to work on the Bronco. There's no shortage. So anyway, that's it, guys. I'll see you very soon. Check out my podcast, Video Game Outsiders, at videogameoutsiders.com, and You Suck Show at YouSuckShow.com. And subscribe, like, tell your friends, all that good stuff. And I'll see you very soon. Later, and bye.